Hello and welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Scott Anderson, and I'm finally getting to do my update video on my Biopellet crash. So it's been about a week and a half since I put that video out, and I got a ton of responses from you guys, the viewers, as to what you think happened and why. So my initial thesis was that nitrates fell off, stressing my coral, causing massive problems. Now, I think the problem is much more complicated than that. My understanding of how biopellets worked was that the bacteria fed off of the biopellets and the nitrates in the water. What I think is actually happening is the biopellets are breaking down in the water, the carbon releases from that, and then the bacteria lives in the water column, the rock, and all of that, and feeds off of the carbon solution that's in the water and the nitrates in the water. That's theory. I'm still not finding great evidence on exactly how biopellets work. But what I think happened is when I put lots of biopellets in, I put way too much carbon in the water. So first, I suspect all of that excess carbon in the water was a stressor on the corals. And of course, when that happened, I had a huge food source. I think I created a bacterial imbalance, which is probably a second stressor on the coral. And then thirdly, that bacterial imbalance feeds heavily on nitrates, takes my nitrates levels to basically nothing, causing a third stressor on my coral. So to fix this, I've pulled my biopellet reactor and I've been doing lots of water changes. The goal is to get that carbon source out of the water. Now, I don't actually know if it's even in the water, but I can't see water changes hurting. So the big question you're probably asking is, why would I put so many biopellets in the water at once? Well, I use a DIY reactor, and this is the little lid that keeps everything together. Basically, it's a sewer cleanout, right? You can see all this stringy stuff hanging down. That's Teflon tape. Well, to put my biopellets in, I have to Teflon tape the crap out of this every time, tighten it down. It tends to leak. It's not a good seal. So, because it's difficult, I tended to put lots of biopellets in and crash my tank, right? So, something stupid like this caused me to make bad decisions, which at the time, honestly, I didn't know were bad decisions. But I'm going to say this was the root cause to my reasoning for putting lots in instead of spacing it out. Now, how's the tank doing? My Euphyllia garden is still really stressed. Although many of the corals are still opening up more than they were, they're still nowhere near their former glory. This thing used to be really open and beautiful, and now everything's just kind of pulled in. I hope it all comes back. My big red plating Monty seems to be regaining some color, although it's not apparent in this video. My big green plating Monty is actually holding its color really well and just has a few very small spots of die-off. This is holding off better than most of the plating ones, and the little purple one in back has shown no signs of problems at all. Worst hit has got to be my spongeode and my orange plating Monty. Now, the spongeode has lost most of its color. It doesn't have much polyp extension, and I hate to say it, that aptasia in the middle isn't helping at all, and that's something I got to take care of. The orange plating Monty continues to lose color and die back. This coral has gone through this before, so I think I can save it. It's not all bad news. A lot of the corals are still doing really well. All of my soft corals are doing extremely well. They haven't been hit by this problem at all. They've shown no signs of stress. This has mainly been a problem for the stony corals. And my big squamosa clam has gotten so big and is so unaffected by this problem. I really wish it was possible to frag a clam. This thing is just huge. The other minor issue that came up is my Jibo RW20 pump finally died. So I ordered a Jibo PP40 pump. Now I went with a little smaller pump so I could actually adjust the flow lower. I was running my RW20 as low as it would go. So by having the PP40 pump, I can actually adjust it lower if I need to, and I never run the pump as hard as it'll go anyways. Someday I hope to buy something high-end like a Tunzi or an Ecotech pump, but right now it's not in the budget. So unfortunately this week's Reef vlog is much more about managing decline. It's no fun, but this time around I think I actually know the cause, which is huge because now I can prevent it from happening in the future. So in the future, I'm going to be managing the decline. When things start coming back up, then I'll start thinking about adding new stuff to the tank. But for the time being, I'm just going to try to get everything stable, everything happy, and we'll start moving forwards from there. So thank you for watching this episode of Mile High Reefers. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.